On the morning of May 20th, 1991, Eddie Van Halen picked me up at the gate of his spacious home and studio complex that he shared with his wife Valerie and their 2-month-old son Wolfgang. Driving a golf cart painted like his Frankenstrat, Eddie wheeled me up the hill to his home studio. He led me past a pinball machine, video games, and down a narrow hallway into the recording room. Cigarettes, tools, bottle caps, a bowl of guitar slides, and Motley, Crue, and Led Zeppelin CDs littered the console. Before we do the interview, Eddie said, "I want you to hear the new album." He queued up a reference CD for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, the first Van Halen album in 3 years, and showed me the slider to work the volume. "Hope you like it," he said with a smile. Giant monitors blared the opening of Pound Cake as Eddie disappeared out the door. Midway through the third song, he popped back in, adjusted his spectacles, and quickly scanned the notes I'd just written. "This album's a lot more powerful than our last one," he shouted. He disappeared again and returned as the last notes were playing. Eddie flipped a switch that lit up 2 large rooms on the other side of the control room window. One held his guitars and amps, and the other had Alex's drum rig. We went right into the wide-ranging interview you're about to hear. As I listened back to it for the first time in 34 years, I'm struck by how happy and relaxed Eddie sounds. He was especially thrilled about becoming a dad, describing it as the most beautiful thing that's ever happened to me. There are lots more insightful and heartwarming revelations here, so I hope you enjoy our conversation.
Everyone's playing better.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah. Well, you know, we took a year off, too.
Yeah.
That helped.
Alex is playing.
Oh, fuck. See, the thing is, he's always been a great player. So he was
Oh,
just never
yeah.
captured on record. You know what I'm saying? He was just never done justice on a record, I say, you know.
This record's got like 5 or 6 singles on it, you know?
But believe it or not, it wasn't a conscious thing,
I know,
you know.
but it's there.
It's just like people ask me, hey, why the change of direction? To me, it really wasn't. It's just a natural continuation, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's like part of the... I hear like a lot of 21-year-old Eddie in here.
Uh-huh, yeah.
And then I hear like something really...
Out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like totally different. It's
Right.
cool.
Well, that's what a year off will do to you, you know.
You took a year off completely from the
Yeah,
band?
our last tour was '88. We took all of '89 off. Actually, we finished our tour in February of '89 in Japan, and we took a year off till March of '90, and then we started thinking about, hey, well, you want to do a record? You know what I mean? And in the meantime, I added this console.
Yeah.
You've been here before, right?
No, man.
Well, I'll have to show you the old console down in the garage. World War II relic. And I added a room.
Wow.
Yeah, it used to be just let me show you. It used to just go to right here.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
that's another reason why the drums obviously sound liver, because we have a special room just for the drums now.
Man.
And of course, Andy John, you know.
Yeah.
Andy and Al. See, this is, I mean, I don't know if I should say this, but we actually kind of auditioned Andy. You know, I mean, you know, we had a few people come up and dick around, and I figured if Al is happy, I can always make my guitar sound the way I like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To me, the main problem is always drums. So we sat down and said, well, who in the fuck makes drums sound the way you like, Al? And he goes, well, fucking Zeppelin. And who did all the happening Zeppelin? Andy Johns.
Right.
So I called him up. As a matter of fact, it was his birthday. A year ago today, May 20th.
Really?
Yeah.
How weird.
But I called him up, and he came over on like a Monday, and we just hit it off right off the bat. I mean, that guy is like so rock and roll.
Oh, yeah.
It's ridiculous, you know.
What did he do different, you know? I mean, what...
Oh, it's just, I don't know. It's just his.
Alex
It's very inspirational to work with the guy because he gets sounds that make you want to play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really that simple. He makes the shit sound like you're a band and you're really playing.
Who was your engineer for the guitar stuff?
Andy, you know, put it this way, guitar is easy. Throw
Yeah.
up 2 fucking mics, you're done. You know?
Wow.
There's nothing to the guitar.
What the hell is this little Music Man for?
I used it on a couple tunes, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, that's a baby.
Or I tried to.
112
I actually
RT.
used these two on Finish What We Started, last record.
Yeah.
And that's my new Peavey.
Which one? The 5150 model?
It's great, man.
Did you actually have input in the
Yeah.
sounds and all that?
Everything. The way it looks, the way it sounds.
Man. You've got a sound. It sounded like...
James Brown from Peavey, he and I worked, you know, for hours on this damn thing.
Is this like a commercially available 5150?
It will be
amp?
soon. As soon as we get a cabinet.
Yeah.
That I like.
Did you use a lot of different guitars?
I used my new guitar, my Music Man guitar.
I remember the first time we were talking, you had that old black and white striped Strat. What happened to that thing?
That is the one that turned into the red and white and black.
Right.
Right. I use this guitar on everything except the last track, which I use the Flying V.
You were always turning the corner on people. Even when you were a kid, you were doing that.
Well, it's not really like a conscious kind of deal. I just figured, shit, you know, the one pickup. I used front pickup on almost every fucking solo on this record because I was like so jazzed about it. I'm going, hey, all right, a new sound, you know. So.
Now, when you did the guitar tracks, where were you?
I stood here.
Stood here.
Yeah. I always like playing behind the console because, you know, I hate wearing headphones.
Yeah.
I can't stand wearing headphones.
Are-
And since we got the drum room now, I couldn't be in the same room with Al.
Yeah.
So, you know, the next logical choice was to stand back here.
At least you can see them.
Yeah.
Were there any tracks where you were playing at the same time?
Oh, we all played at the same time.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Great.
I mean, I'd stand in here. We actually had a camera out there focused on Al. Well, down now, but
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
no, we played all the tracks live.
Yeah.
You know, except I was in here. Some tracks, Mike was in here actually too.
Yeah.
And we'd be jamming in here watching Al.
That's funny. Did
But,
Sammy play any guitar?
No.
Did you play any bass? Some of it sounds like you.
No.
Okay. Man,
Why'd you have to ask that?
I won't ask it. You know, one of the things everyone always talks about Eddie Van Halen, the soloist, you know, and without a doubt, you're great at that. But you're really one of the undersung rhythm guitarists. I hear that so much attention to that on this record.
Well, it's just how many, you know, what can you do soloing wise? To me, soloing is to enhance the tune.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of people just go and do all kinds of crazy shit. And sure, that's fine and dandy, I guess, when you're young and, or, you know, I'm not saying that I'm old, but you know what I mean. It's like playing as fast as you can doesn't really hold much water for me anymore. You know.
Yeah, those
To me, a solo is to highlight the song or to help
yeah.
the tune. You know, not to like show off your licks. You know.
Would you tend to like finish one song at a time?
That's exactly what we did.
Yeah.
And here's the funny thing: getting back to when we got together with Andy, we had nothing written, nothing,
No songs?
nothing at all.
The solos in the last
So
year?
we were just jamming, and it sounded so good. We said, "Well, let's start a record." And everyone kind of went, "Well, what do you got, Ed?" I said, "I ain't got shit, man. Give me a week, you know. Give me a week to come up with something." And
Wow.
then I think like the first track we cut was Judgment Day.
Uh-huh.
Because I had kind of this, you know, this kind of like headbanging lick, you know.
Yeah.
So we started jamming on that, and things just kind of came together after that.
It's an amazing sync of drums and guitar in that solo.
Oh yeah.
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 Wow. Did that take much rehearsal?
No, really, no.
Huh.
Actually, what we did is we just jammed, and it was so much fun because it finally kind of sounds the way Alex and I hear it, and Sammy and Mike, and there's finally bass on the record too. You can hear a bass guitar.
Yeah, I noticed.
On the previous records, for whatever reason, it never really happened. I'm not bad rapping Don Landy at all. We made some great records with him. We'll probably in the future work with him again sometime. But we as a band, we thought it'd be nice to use someone else for once,
Yeah.
Give him a break,
What's going on in the beginning of Spanked? Keyboards or guitar?
Oh, that's guitar. It's just feedback.
Yeah. Sounds great, man.
And the guitar, the actual main guitar on that is a Dan Electro bass.
Really?
Six-string bass. So
okay.
Mike and I are both playing bass.
Yeah.
He's playing like Music Man, 5-string, and I'm playing 6-string.
That's what's that real muscular sound thing.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a big fat Strat.
Yeah, is that red instrument out there?
It
was leaning up by the piano. Man, yeah, it was a Dan Electro.
But it's one of those what do you call it, with the 2 horns, 6-string Dave Edmunds model.
Yeah.
I just kind of blazed it through the Marshalls, and it sounded like a guitar. And I was going, hey, this is kind of neat.
One of the things that makes the record real interesting is your textures change from sound to sound. It's like, where like on your early records, oftentimes it was like similar throughout.
Yeah. Well,
like
our earlier records, we just kind of like, for one, we have all the songs written, and probably had already performed most of them live before it even came to record.
Yeah.
And we just walk in the studio and set up for a week and play them all, and that was it.
Yeah.
Whereas this record, we kind of approached each song as a separate song, which they are. You know what I mean? And yeah, I guess that's why it doesn't sound like the old days, because we wrote each song as we went along, and it wasn't like they were all done in 1 week.
Really? So you would sometimes, do you have like half the album finished before you'd written the other half?
On this one? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What do you mean?
Wow.
We'd do one song and finish it.
Man,
and then go, well, what else you got, Ed? I go, well, I got this ditty. Let's work on this one. And then we'd finish that one.
Man.
Yeah. We took each song separately.
You know what? Are you doing them in the order?
Except for not all of the overdubs and all the vocals were done, but the tracks and the solos and the lead vocals were done before we'd even start on another song.
Yeah. For you, is there like a best way to record a solo? I mean, is it better late at night, at the end of the day, when you're hungry, when you're pissed off? I mean...
Depends on the solo.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah, you got to be in the right mood to play a certain song.
Yeah.
And,
are there any stories behind particular solos on this record? Like weird things or weird vibes?
Weird vibes?
Yeah, I mean...
Well, let me see.
There it is. It's like run around, it's like classic Eddie, like falling down the steps and landing on your feet.
Yeah. Run around. Right. No, I don't know. It's just the mood I was in at the time, you know what I mean?
How'd that song start? I mean, how'd you start writing it? What was the genesis of it?
Run around. I just had this lick, I don't know, we were just jamming. It's like, I hate to be a bad interview here, but...
You're not, man. You are really, never a bad interview.
Well, I think it was just hard for me to, say, because we were just jamming.
Huh.
And I go, hey, how about this? And the guys go, great, okay, how about this to that? And we just kind of go on from there. It was, it's just a working process.
Yeah. Did Sammy have a lot of input in the arrangements?
Oh, sure, we all did. We were all right here the whole time saying, nah, that part sucks. Okay, chuck it. Got any other ideas? Yeah, sure, how about this?
Does anyone push you guitar-wise besides you? Is there ever instances where guys say, well, Eddie, I think you ought to do that one again. Let's try a different angle.
Oh, you mean like when we're cutting?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. The guys go, not quite, Ed. You know, sometimes I go, well, I kind of like it, you know, because I don't always like to be like, I don't know, I go for a vibe, I guess. Kind of like Joe Perry from Aerosmith. You know,
Yeah.
he's such a vibe player, you know, I love that kind of stuff. And,
Yeah.
I'm not saying I play like him, we're similar, but I just kind of go for a vibe, and if it works with the song, then I'm home, you know.
Pleasure Dome's got like that opening. It's got that sweet kind of distorted stuff. It's unlike anything I've ever heard from you before. What was that? What was going on there?
Just a little ditty that I had. I actually wanted to. We never got around to it. I was going to redo it on an acoustic guitar.
Really?
But then the guys just went, "Oh fuck, it's too late, man. Just leave it." Yeah. Hard to say, man. It's just these 11 tunes are just what came out of me within that year's time, you know.
Were there other tunes that you discarded?
Oh yeah, 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had like 18 tunes actually, and that also, you know, it depended on what song Sammy was into that week.
Yeah.
You know, and if he would say, "Nah, I got a handle on this one," we'd work on that one.
Yeah.
You know, lyrically and vocally. Yeah, we scratched. Got a bunch of tunes actually. But that's kind of what we set out to do too, to have too many songs and pick, you know. And
You did that.
democratically.
You did that 10 years ago too.
Yeah, yeah.
316 is real interesting. It's because it shows the beauty and simplicity.
It's so simple.
Yeah.
I have a 2-month-old baby boy now.
Wolfgang. Congratulations, by the way.
Wolfgang William. And this is a thing on acoustic guitar that I would play to him to put him to sleep.
Really?
Yeah. So
Oh, how
316
nice.
is his birthday.
Oh,
March
cool.
March 16th. I mean, it's actually a little ditty that I was doing in my guitar solo, you know, last tour. But I'd play it for him and he'd fall asleep and then go, "Hey, shit, let's put it on the record."
No
cool,
kidding.
you know?
Do you play other stuff for him?
Yeah, just kind of jam.
That's funny.
You know?
Wow. That must change your whole perspective of life.
Oh yeah. It's a great thing, man. It's probably the most beautiful thing that's ever happened to me.
Really?
Oh yeah. He's so cute, man.
Yeah.
On the way out, you can stop by and see him.
Okay. That's something. Life's greatest gift in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of a sudden time becomes more valuable,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
The funny thing is, though, it really hasn't changed our lives very much because Valerie and I never really did anything anyway. You know, we're kind of couch potatoes. And we don't really go out. You know, we're not
Yeah.
Hollywood kind of couple, really. We don't go out. So it's not like, "Oh, I can't do this now because of the baby."
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like that at all. It's
Do
like
you
I don't even remember what it was like before he came.
Do you still play a lot of guitar while you're watching TV like
Oh
you
yeah,
used to?
I'm still a couch jammer.
Do
I
you
mean, that's
jam-
where 90% of the ideas come from.
Do you jam along to soundtracks on TV, or you just riff?
No. I usually have the sound off and just play and watch.
Really?
Yeah.
What shows are the best for that?
Oh, man. You know, HBO, whatever. You know, got a satellite dish and just flip the knob, you know.
That's funny, man.
Hey,
Hey, how are you?
Hi.
you know each other,
Are
right?
you Maureen?
We talked on the phone,
Hey,
but we
nice
haven't
to
met.
meet you.
Hi, how are you?
I got a frantic message to call your car phone over the weekend, but I never got through.
On Friday, I just wanted to talk to you about pictures, but we can talk about that after you guys are done.
Who's the other guy?
The next interview, which isn't for quite a while, but they wanted to hear the record.
Well, you want to go in the other room?
I noticed a bowl full of slides in there.
A bowl full?
Yeah, you had a bunch of slides in a bowl.
Oh. Yeah, I slide on a couple tunes. Dream is Over,
Uh-huh.
beginning of it, in the solo part. What else? I think that's about it.
Where'd you use the EBO?
That was the beginning of Spang, the weird sound.
Oh,
The
okay.
keyboard.
Yeah.
You know, the feedback with the EBO.
Right. Oh, man, that threw me. What's the story on Right Now? That's a beautiful keyboard sound.
That's something actually I wrote a long time ago, the piano part, and we just kind of made it into a complete song. You know? I was kind of envisioning Joe Cocker singing on that one.
Really?
Well, it kind of reminds me of old Feeling All Right, the way he did
Yeah.
it.
The left hand part is like massive.
That's the Dan Electro. Actually, on those, I use the Music Man 6-string bass, which is kind of like a Dan Electro. The beginning,
Yeah.
you know, the weird kind of
Right.
Twin Peaks sound.
That's a 6-string bass.
That's an Ernie Ball Music Band 6-string bass.
Yeah, that's the track where the bass sounded real distinctive.
Yeah.
Threw me for a loop there. Dream is Over to me sounds like the real young Ed.
Really?
The solo especially.
That to me, and Top of the World. Because believe it or not, Top of the World, the very last song, I wrote that in 1984.
Really?
Well, if you think back, dun 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 dun,
Right.
that was in the end of Jump.
Oh, so it
Remember?
takes off from there.
Yeah.
Some guy borrowed an interview we did one time. He wanted to hear the tape. It was like 1980 or 80,
Yeah.
79. And you were in Detroit and you just bought a keyboard.
Yeah.
And you wrote a riff on it and you played it over the phone to me.
Hmm.
And it turned out to be Jump.
Oh, was that it?
It
Really?
was like years and years before. This guy goes, "Do you realize what's on this tape?" I went, "No, I don't listen to it." It was, there it is.
Outside of Top of the World and 316, everything else was written, during the interim, during the album time.
Yeah. Why did you go with the guitar you have now? Is it out of friendship with Sterling, or did you come to him and say, "This is what I want"?
No, actually, he came to me, followed me around, chased me for about a year, and because I wasn't really sure if I wanted to build a guitar,
Yeah.
with my name on it. And then when I saw the quality work that they do,
Yeah.
and then he was only talking about making 1,000 of them a year instead of, like other companies, they make like 25,000 in a month.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I can live with that. That'd be kind of neat. Because that way each guitar will be exactly the way I want it. In case I lose my main one, which is that yellow one, I can just zip down to the store and pick it up, and I know for sure it'll be exactly what I want.
Yeah. There's like a generation of kids who have imitated you, as you know. It used to be you couldn't go to a NAMM show without hearing.
And I also see a lot of them one pickup guitars out there with the one knob.
Yeah.
But
let's say Wolfgang wanted to be a musician, right? And he's like 7, 10, whatever, and he comes to you and says, what should I do to make it? What would you like? What course would you set for him?
Well, what?
Obviously, you never.
Then again, what is making it?
You never went, not making it successful, but making your statement as a musician and rising.
Just believing in what you do and, coming from the heart, basically.
You think imitation and mimicking is a bad thing?
I think everyone kind of starts there.
Yeah.
I used to know all the old Clapton stuff, note for note.
Yeah.
But I didn't really end up playing like him. You know what I mean? But I think, sure, everybody learns from somewhere.
But it seems like the guys who really change the way the guitar is perceived are people who find a part of them that's unique and bring that out.
Yeah, but I think that kind of happens. Just like, say Hendrix, man, in the early days, he was playing, all the Otis Redding stuff. He wasn't using the fuzz face and everything in the very beginning.
Yeah.
It kind of developed, you know what I mean?
Would you encourage a kid on a path of lessons or piano like you had?
I think any kind of, background, lessons, whatever, is always healthy, as long as you're not, just don't get locked into one thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I guess.
Do you get a lot of ideas from when you don't have a guitar around?
I hum a lot. Yeah.
Do you remember it?
No. Sometimes I do. I'm trying to think. I think I might have told you this years ago. On 1984, one song I distinctly remember called "Girl Gone Bad." We were in South America on tour, and I didn't want to wake up my wife, so I hopped into the closet and I hummed into a little tape recorder. I hummed the guitar lick.
Yeah.
Like that. So yeah, sometimes, the shit hits you in the middle of the night and you gotta force yourself to get out of bed and go, this might be something someday. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Is there much transference of keyboard, guitar stuff in your mind? Or do you pick up licks from one and do it on the other?
I've come up with a bunch of keyboard stuff that ends up being guitar and vice versa, but not on this record. This record was pretty much straightforward. You know.
Were any of the classic Van Halen songs done that way, that you recall?
I remember a song called Hear About It Later for Fair Warning. That was a keyboard tune. And The Cradle Will Rock was a guitar tune.
Yeah.
They changed it to keyboards.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. When you go on tour, is Sammy gonna have to play a lot?
It's up to him. I mean, you mean...
Yeah, like Pound Cake has a lot of layering in it, right? And to translate on the stage.
I think it'll work with just one guitar.
Yeah.
I think because the solo just has one guitar, I think, except for tail end maybe.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think people are going to miss the kind of subliminal padding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hope.
Are you listening to anyone today, these days?
I haven't listened to anything in so long, it's ridiculous. I think that the last record I bought was Peter Gabriel's So.
Really?
Yeah. It's like every couple of years I'll buy a record and just get totally into it, you know. And
what have been those records for you? What are the records you remember that were like that to you?
Bill Bruford, what's the name of the album? But it had a song called One of a Kind.
Yeah.
That's when I was like totally into Holsworth.
Yeah.
And there's been an album. Well, wait, there's a couple of Brand X records actually that I got into for a while. One of them is called Nobody Goes to Sweden.
Yeah.
Really bizarre out stuff.
You turned me onto In the Dead of Night a long time ago.
Right. That was UK.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really a great song.
And, I don't know. The thing is, like Peter Gabriel, there's not really any guitar stuff on there. That's
right.
You know, I just get off on the whole vibe of it. You know, it's like Red Rain on So. It's such a bitchin' tune.
Yeah.
You know, I get off on that kind of stuff.
Do you hear a lot of sterility in modern guitar playing, where everything's aimed at the guitar and the solo versus songs?
I don't know. I don't listen to enough stuff to really be able to comment on that. I mean, I flipped a knob on MTV now and then, and it's like, there's a handful of bands out there that all just sound so generic.
Yeah.
You know? But then again, you know, I don't mean to put them down, because they might think the same about what I do. You know?
Yeah, it's hard to imagine.
Well, you know, everybody's entitled to their opinions.
Yeah. What's your biggest beef about the music business?
Journalists. No.
I read that musician thing this morning. I couldn't believe it.
Ah, God.
Unfortunately,
I obviously don't please the guy, so fuck, you know.
No one does.
But you know, it's not my life goal to please Mr. Matt, you know.
Yeah.
I don't really give a fuck.
Unfortunately, there's a real storm brewing now over the comments and musicians.
Well, no, they weren't my comments.
I know. I just hope it doesn't bring negative.
Well, it wasn't meant to
you.
be printed. You know what I mean? It was just between two men.
Yeah, the statement about "I hope your tape recorder's running" is what allowed the publishing of it, which is very unfortunate.
Well, what the hell? Oh,
I think that's something that Ed Butler
yeah.
does really affect Van Halen.
Yeah, I think, you know, Eddie's been really lucky throughout his life, and that the press has always liked him, you know, and it's always been really good for him. It has to be because people like you as a person or like your music.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I think with Loeffler, though, he was sticking up for me like I was his kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He didn't. I don't think he meant to, like, attack him in that manner. But you know, what the hell? That's between him and Ed.
Do you have an idea of what kind of setup you're going to go out with this year?
Probably just a bunch of amps.
Yeah.
Because I mean, this is a very rock and roll record to me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to need the wattage behind me.
One song that really surprised me, like, takes a left turn into Wah Wah Land. Which one was that?
Oh, In and Out?
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
That was a real surprise.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I went, hey, Matt, where's my wah-wah? No. No. He's asking how the wah-wah ended up on In and Out. I'm just going on and saying, hey, Matt, where's the wah-wah? And he hooked it up, and I used it, you know. Not really much thought involved.
Is there any other retro gear on there?
A little bit of in the beginning of Pound Cake, that's a Makita drill.
Really?
Yeah.
Mic'd up, huh?
Well, no, it was just laying there. It's just up to the pickup, you know. It happened to be laying there, and I went boink boink. Hey, it comes out to the pickup because the pickup's like a microphone.
Oh,
you know?
Man.
So I just held the drill up and used it and go, hey, it's kind of a neat sound. What the fuck? You know, that really wasn't planned either. It was just kind of an accident.
That's totally strange.
Yeah.
Huh. Man, I'm really happy to hear this record. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, it doesn't really seem like we spent that much time on it because, you know, we took a whole year off, and then it wasn't like we didn't really spend a year, even though we did.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, we worked maybe 45 minutes an hour and a half tops a day. You know, we'll come in, if nothing's going on, we all split, you know. We come in this room and play the games, you know, till inspiration knocks, you know.
Do you need to do much to maintain your skill on guitar?
Put it this way, a whole year off with playing very, very little.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it took me a bit to, whoa, I gotta play, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like anything else, you know, you gotta keep it up. It's like you can't lift weights all your life and all of a sudden stop and expect to still be in shape.
Did you do anything special to get back?
No, just writing, noodling, you know, the couch guitar.
Watching TV?
Yeah.
Is the guitar plugged in when you're doing that?
Oh, no.
Yeah?
No.
Would people, if somebody was like sitting there listening to you, would they be surprised by what they heard, or would it be stuff that comes out on the record?
You'd have to ask them. I don't know. I mean, yeah, sometimes Valerie will go, ooh, that was neat. And I'll go, what? You know what I mean? Because I'm really not thinking.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. When you're doing the record, though, how much time a day are you actually playing, or woodshedding, as they say?
I always write on my own. I rarely sit with the other guys and come up with something. I'll usually go, well, hey, there's nothing happening today. Generally, whatever idea anybody in the band comes up with, we usually attempt anyway. You know, even the stuff that didn't make the record. You know.
Yeah.
We'll try it all, and if we never like give up on something too quick. You know, so sometimes you know, a brand new day will bring an element to it that all of a sudden makes this song sparkle.
Yeah.
You know? And
have you noticed any substantial changes in your technique, or have any like revelations come to you in the last couple of years?
I think I'm playing a little more bluesy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not playing as maniac, I guess. I think. I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, I can hear it.
You know, I'm just kind of, because I love the sound of that front pickup now too, because of the way we designed my guitar. Is that, remember in the old days with an old Gibson or whatever, God, I hate bringing up other guitar company names, but I always used to have such a hard time making the front and the rear pickup with the same amp settings work.
Yeah.
You know, if you get the front one sounding good, like that old Johnny Winter tone,
the
rear pickup would be like too bright.
Right.
You know, so what we did is we just designed two completely different pickups. So if you swapped them in the guitar, it would be really weird sounding.
It wouldn't sound good at
all.
No. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What happened to the red and black one, or red and white one?
It's upstairs.
Still got it?
Yeah. It just feels kind of old to me now.
Really?
Well, I mean, it's like, it's still a nice guitar, I guess. I mean, it served me right for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
But it was such a piece of shit, really.
Does the sound you're getting have much to do with what you play? Like, will it certain...
Oh, yeah. Sure. Definitely.
Besides the guitar, is there any new gear you're excited about?
My new amp, the PV amp.
Yeah.
I've been working on that for about a year, too.
How's it different from a Marshall?
okay, I don't own any new Marshalls, so I can't compare to a new one. But to the Marshalls that I own, which are very old, they're real kind of abrasive sounding, and they're not as sweet as I would prefer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the tone isn't as warm. It took a long time to get that. It has like a couple extra gain stages, this and that. But when we first started talking about extra gain stages, it kind of scared me. I'm going, yeah, I don't want the thing to sound like a fuzz box either, you know. I'm looking for sustain and clarity, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't like that real head banging fuzz sound, you know.
Yeah.
I don't particularly care for that. But then again, a lot of people might think that the sound I get is too fuzzed out from them. I don't know, you know. I go for, you know, if it feels nice when you're playing, you hit a note and you get sustain and just, you know, kind of sings.
Yeah.
You know? And, yeah.
What happened to the Marshall that wound up in India and came back?
I have it, yeah. I use that on every record except for this one.
Really?
Yeah.
That came from a club
actually,
originally, didn't it?
It came from a place called the Rose Palace, where they build the floats.
Right.
Okay, and they used to have concerts there.
Yeah.
And I used to work at a music store called Berry and Grassmuck in Pasadena.
Very what?
Berry and Grassmuck. And I used to work there delivering pianos and organs for about 6 months.
When you were in high school?
Yeah, around high school. And one day, you know, I've only seen Marshall amps in pictures, you know, on the back of albums and stuff. Never seen one in person. And this thing came in one day, it beat to shit, you know. It was like a house amp.
Yeah.
At the Rose Palace. And man, I saw it and I said, I gotta have it, gotta have it.
Does it still sound great?
It still sounds the way I remember, yeah. But I don't know, I've changed a bit, I guess. So my needs are different, you know, in an amp.
What do you use to mic them?
Just 257s, you know. The old Shure kind of deal still works.
Did Andy bring any strange ideas to it? You haven't done Jimmy Page great tracks. He did Stairway to Heaven, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
I mean, did he bring any weird guitar concepts in? Or because didn't Page used to do all sorts of weird miking things, like string it up in a bathroom down the hall and that kind of stuff?
We never really talked about that too much.
Yeah.
No. I guess he was pretty happy with what I was getting anyway, that we didn't stray too far away from what I normally do.
Yeah.
Like say in Pound Cake, it was his idea to add these 12-string clean guitars underneath the distorted guitar, which you give it kind of a sonic kind of sound, you know. But I don't know, we dicked around quite a bit, I guess, but miking technique-wise, no.
Well, how was 316 done?
It was a Chet Atkins steel string. You know, one of those new Gibson ones, just direct.
Yeah, it has. Was it going through?
Just harmonizer on one side, direct on the other.
Yeah. Is there any other gear that you're really crazy about right now?
I'm still using the same old shit, if I remember right. A harmonizer and an echo.
Have you seen any major advances in Whammy technology?
I like the one that I'm using on my guitar. I don't mean to sound like I'm sitting here pushing my guitar.
No, I mean, it's obviously what you want.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a half step further than a Floyd Rose. It is a Floyd Rose licensed job, you know, because anything that's fine tuners and locks has to be licensed by him because he's got a patent on it. But I like the way the fine tuners back here are set way back.
Oh yeah.
Whereas on a Floyd, they're sitting right here, and so the way I pick, I'd be knocking the thing out of tune. Yeah. You know, so I like that.
Do you palm it here much?
No, it's just usually right about there, which is kind of right where the Floyd ones are. They're sitting straight instead of angled back. So, but then again, you know,
is that 2 springs in the back?
Yeah, doesn't matter really. You can use 2, you can use 5, as long as the tension, for me, mine doesn't pull back.
Right.
You know, I hate it pulling out.
You don't have the Steve Vai setup.
Well, you know, a lot of people like pulling up on it, but like I said again, the same problem I have with the fine tuners being here, since I rest the palm of my hand on the bridge, it sounds like a warped record if it's floating.
Yeah.
And on top of that also, I like the connection. You know,
Yeah.
I truly believe that the more every part on the guitar is connected as opposed to this floating,
Yeah.
you know, you're connected to wood and you'll get more tone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tone. That's funny.
Oh, that's just a joke.
I know. That's pretty cool.
Excuse me 1 second.
I'm almost finished here.
You know, the honest to God truth is that he was just supposed to cover the NAMM gig. He never once mentioned the name of the band. He made it seem like it was my thing. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Yeah, these guys have been a band for 7, 8 years. I sat in with them.
Right.
It wasn't my idea.
I don't like the bit about you in the bathroom and all that.
Oh,
that has
yeah.
no
Well,
place
what the
in
hell
a
was he doing
cover
following me around, you know,
story.
in
I
the
wouldn't
bathroom?
like that. I wouldn't like that at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, anyway, I'm not going to
Yeah, I don't either. Are you as enthusiastic about going on the road as you were
Oh,
in the
definitely.
past?
Yeah, especially since we haven't been out since '88.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going out in August.
Have you done any recording outside of Van Halen recently? Besides the Hagar record since then?
I did a thing with Thomas Dolby.
Playing on a record?
Yeah. I don't know when or if that's coming out.
Yeah.
Because he just had a baby too, and he just put everything on hold.
Cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I helped him out on a couple of tunes on his new record. And actually, you know, he said the same thing that you said. He said, you know, people are always saying about your lead playing. He goes, man, I dig your rhythm playing. So I played rhythm on 2 songs.
Oh, great.
On his record, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's where
Yeah.
so many guys like overlook that. And
Yeah.
That's really like the backbone of the song.
Well, I mean, you know, what the fuck made Pete Townsend great?
Yeah.
Songs and rhythm. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. Did you write all the music for this record as usual?
Yeah.
So Sammy doesn't come in with songs he's got.
Well, I mean, we all make them songs.
Yeah.
But you know, I come up with the basic the riffs. You know.
Yeah.
The structure pretty much. Alex and I. Well, we all do. We all. I come up with the seed.
Yeah.
So to speak. You know. I mean, because I don't mean to sit here and say I do it all, because I don't.
Yeah.
You know. But I come up with the music, and then we all piece it together and
Yeah.
come up with harmonies. You know, titles, lyrics. You know, we all kind of do it all.
Yeah. This might sound like a really stupid question, and forgive me if it is, and don't
No.
answer it, but maybe you can't even answer it. But if you had to put together, let's say, a CD or a cassette of the essential Eddie Van Halen guitar tracks, what do you, in your mind, would have to go on there?
Wow. Well, I don't think there's been anything done like Eruption.
No question.
Obviously, you know, and I love the intro to Women in Love on our second album.
Yeah.
You know, the Ping Ping
Yeah.
stuff, and Spanish Fly. Little guitar thing, intro for little
Yeah.
guitars, and I don't know, just all the little ditties that I do.
Yeah.
Then again, I love the solo I did in Jump, too. You know? You're kind of asking me which one of my kids do I like best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I got 9 kids now. I like them all. You know what I mean? I don't like Billy anymore, and I like Bobby. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
you know, it's all a state of mind where you're at that particular point in time. Like, Fair Warning was kind of a darker record.
Yeah.
You know, but there's some stuff on there that I really like. Like I said, you know, it's like having 9 kids, and
Yeah.
you're asking me which one I like best.
Yeah.
I like them all.
Do Mike and Alex live nearby?
Oh, yeah, Alex lives right up the street. Like,
Uh-huh.
well, he could walk if it wasn't such a dangerous road to walk on, but
Yeah.
cold water.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he lives like 4 minutes away. Mike lives all the way out in Glendora,
Yeah.
because that's where his folks live, so he prefers to stay out near them. Sammy has a place out in Malibu, and a place up in Mill Valley,
That's
which is
we
where he's
did
at
the
now.
cover
Yeah.
story. Why have the 3 of you stayed together so long?
Family,
What's the secret? Is
just family. It's like I've never been one to. It's like, you know, if you get on with people and your friends and your buddies, you know. I mean, we started out eating shit,
Yeah.
Musician soup, you know, ketchup and water.
Yeah.
You know, you don't forget stuff like that,
Yeah.
you know. That's why we're together. And Sammy comes from that same family. You know, he's a fucking hardcore Italian. So, you know what I mean? Very family oriented,
Yeah.
and that's where it's all at, you know.
Eddie, this covers what I'm looking for, and I know
Cool.
you got a lot more interviews to do.
Well, they're not done listening yet, so
No.
it don't matter.
Any questions you always wish somebody would have asked you?
I really don't have any answers, you know, to even questions that I ask myself.
You know, I've known you since '78, and you seem remarkably unchanged.
I don't feel any different, believe it or not.
Yeah.
You know, I really don't. I still just do the same fucking thing, you know.
Yeah, the toys have gotten more expensive, and the houses have...
Yeah, but,
you were
you know,
living on
it's-
Los Lunas at first,
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
that.
Funny thing is, the toys don't really matter either. You know.
What does?
The music, making a record, and I don't know. I mean, it's a hell of a feeling to like write a song and have 3 other guys with you, and you know, and finish something, make something out of nothing, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, it's a nice feeling. And, I don't know. I'm thrilled, you know, when I come up with a riff or something I play for Al or for Sammy, and they go, "Yeah, goosebumps, man, this is great."
Hair,
You know,
raise
yeah.
your
I
hair.
mean, you know, there ain't no drug that'll give you that.
It's
You
true.
know what I'm saying?
Not even love.
No. That's pretty much what it's all about.
How's Wolfgang changed you?
Hasn't really.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, you know, obviously I'm a little more responsible because now I got to wake up 3-4 times a night, you know, and I'm legitimately burnt instead of just fucked up burnt. You know what I mean? Oh, it's just, you just start to smile and really be able to see things, you know. It's such a trip. It's like life, you know?
Yeah. It won't be long before he's reminding you what it was like when you were young. That's
Yeah.
one thing weird about kids is like they bring it all back.
The only thing I hope is that he doesn't want to like be an accountant or something, or a lawyer. You know, I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to twist his arm.
You didn't depart very far from what your pop started out doing.
No, if my mom had her way, she almost had me signed up to go to the DeVry Institute of Technology in Phoenix.
What for?
Oh, to be a computer programmer and whatever.
Oh man. Oh.
If I remember right, we just landed a gig at Gazzarri's at the time, and I said, "Mom, see, we're gonna make it." She goes, "Yeah, well, how long will it last?" You know, it's like nothing's ever good enough for Mom. You know,
That's
kind of
funny.
deal. Oh man.
I'm working with this young
And
guitarist.
the whole time, my dad was going, "Yeah, yeah," you know.
Yeah.
He was like behind it all the way. He dug it, you know.
Yeah. Is he still around?
No,
Oh, I'm sorry.
he died in 86, 5 years ago.
Well, he's got to see you
Oh yeah.
make it
Oh, yeah.
big time. Yeah, he played on your record.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Big Bad Villains is Sweet William now
Yeah.
on Diver Down.
I'm working with this really incredible guitar player named Buckethead. He reminds me, he's the first guy that reminds me of you in '78 that
Yeah.
I've seen in all these years. He's 6'5", 21 years old, has a sound like no one's ever heard before.
Really?
And he wears a plastic mask on his face and a Kentucky Fried Chicken bucket over his head. And he's completely lampooning the guitar trip, but he's like, he's got talent that's like similar to Vice or somebody,
Right.
in that he can play anything.
Right.
Thing he hears, and it's really exciting to like meet somebody and know somebody who just doesn't care about all the trappings of rock stars.
Right.
Doesn't want anything to do with that, and just wants to change music in
Right,
his own
right.
way. When you said something really interesting to me, I never forgot when we did the 1980 cover story, or 81, the
Yeah.
black cover.
Uh-huh.
You gave me a lift to the airport, and as we're driving to the airport, you looked over at me and you said, "You know, I'm realistic about this. At the most, I have another 2 years, maybe 3 years, where kids will be listening to me and where I can be on top as a guitarist because no one gets very long.
It seems that way, huh?
I know, but you know, that's the only time I've ever known you to be like really wrong.
Well, thank God I'm wrong. Well, it's just, put it this way, like in the guitar polls, I'm not like the #1 cat anymore, there's faster gunslingers out there, you know what I mean? But in that respect, it's just a natural progression, I think, that you change,
Yeah.
You end up, what's important to me now isn't how fast I can solo. It's, the overall grand scheme of things, the whole picture, the big
It's
picture.
good for kids to feel that way,
Oh,
though.
sure.
It's the
Sure.
gunslinger mentality.
Exactly. And I was like that back then.
Oh, very much
was that
so.
12 years ago?
Yeah, very much so.
But, the whole band thing and songs and, that's a lot more important to me now. I'm not saying that I can't solo anymore either.
Are there things you know now you wished you had known then?
Sure.
I mean, things that are repeatable in the press.
Well, actually, things like that, you still can't change. It's like it all depends on how much everyone is into the same thing, and sometimes people aren't seeing eye to eye about what a band should be, and then people quit, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know.
Well, you've had a successful band with your pals for most of your life. If for new guys putting together bands, what should you look for in the other guys, besides being able to play the music?
Sure, and somebody who just looks at the whole band picture in the same way, I mean, as much as, like, say, I get the Guitar Hero press, I don't think it bothers my brother,
Yeah.
because we're a family.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm not doing it for myself. Anything that I do is for the band.
Yeah.
Obviously. So there's no animosity. There's no weirdness about, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of people have egos, and I guess to get back to your question is like big egos are very unhealthy.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody needs an ego, obviously.
Yeah.
But when it starts getting in the way of the overall picture, what a band is and what a band's supposed to be doing, too much ego is bad news.
Yeah. That's never seemed to be your trip, though.
I lack it, if anything.
Yeah.
I'd rather everyone else did the press. Just let me play.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I don't give a fuck about the star shit, man.
Yeah, that's not to
really
me. That
don't.
seems like a real distraction. Like it would get in the way of all things creative in
What's
a way.
the point, really? I don't know. I'm a musician, not a star.
Yeah.
It's the press that makes you a star.
No big hair, spandex, and NAMM for you.
No, if I go bald, I'm going bald. No rock helmet here, man. No rock helmet. I refuse.
How long do you think Van Halen can keep on?
Forever.
Like the
My
Stones?
dad played till the day he died.
Yeah.
His name was Van Halen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I won't be like leaping across the stage, after a certain age. But just whatever you feel like doing. Music is my life, so I don't see ever quitting.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm obviously you could have quit a long time ago and never had to worry about the day-to-day business of life.
Well, thank God I have an actress for a wife who pays the rent. No.
Yeah, like the creative drive is like such an important part of my life. It's like why I get up in the morning every day.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine being in a life where it's not like that.
Right.
Where you're doing something you don't want to do all the time because
Exactly. But at the same time, I don't. It's like, certain articles that get written sometimes. It's like I don't need to be pushed in the way some people might think I need to be pushed. You know?
Yeah.
I just like to do what I do, and if people like it, great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So because I'm not out to prove anything. You know? I'm really not.
You don't have to, man.
Well, whether I do or not, it's not in me.
Yeah.
You know? I'm not out to I mean, music is a beautiful thing, man. It's not a competitive fucking thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It isn't.
Yeah, I know.
So why in the hell should you have to be pushed to do something you don't even want to do?
I hate
You know
I hate
what I
the
mean?
whole notion of polls and all that, or someone's better than someone else.
Right. Who's better?
I mean, how
it's
can
a matter
you say
of taste,
Eddie Van
man.
Halen's better than Alan Holdsworth is better
It's
than...
a matter of taste.
Yeah.
You know, personal preference. I don't know. And somebody could have 20 #1 hit records under their belt. Someone else could only have their first album coming out and it's, 204 on the charts.
Yeah.
Who's to say who's better? Doesn't make
Yeah.
any fucking difference. You know?
Yeah. It's all in what touches you.
Yeah.
Do you reject a lot of stuff you do because it doesn't move you?
Yeah. It's like 4 or 5 tunes on this record we didn't put on. You know, so they just weren't. Well, they're not exactly true. It's like some of them would have taken a little more work, and we just said, fuck it, we already got an hour's worth of music here. You know, what are we going to do? A double album and finish next year? No. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, got to draw the line somewhere. Because I probably would be the type of guy that would sit around for another fucking year and just piss up a rope, but having fun by myself doing it. I love making records. I love, that's why I built the studio.
Yeah.
I mean, I can just cruise up here and do
Spend
what I...
a lot of time up here?
Oh, yeah. It's my life.
Yeah.
I like doing it. And the rest of the guys like doing it, too, with me, so...
Are there any people besides band members whose opinions really matter to you? Like if they said, well, I don't know about the song you'd be nervous about. Is there anyone in your life like that?
My wife. Steve Lukather's a great buddy of mine.
I love that guy.
Oh, yeah.
One of the dog men of the world.
Oh, he's such a cool dude.
Yeah.
He comes by all the time and I go, what do you think? And he goes, yeah, great. Sometimes he'll go, I don't quite get that one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then again, that's his opinion. Like a lot of times, like the piano tune, I fought for that one. A couple other guys in the band didn't quite hear it. They didn't get the point.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I'm not attacking anyone or nothing.
Yeah, sure.
I'm just saying sometimes people are coming from a different place. They go, I don't get this. What's the point? To me, I think it's a neat little tune. That, sometimes you have to bend people's minds to see the way you see.
Yeah. Hey, I wonder if I could ask you something off the record.
Sure.
This kid Buckethead I was telling you about.
Yeah.
I'm like advising him because there's like sharks in the water after him because people know like, this kid's going to go over the top as a guitarist.
Uh-huh.
And he's getting all sorts of offers from all sorts of labels.
Yeah.
And the lawyer I have working with him is really a fan of Warner Brothers and Elektra, and he says, forget Relativity, forget Polygram, forget all these guys and go with Warner's.
I think Warner Brothers is one of the last companies that are real, Mo Austin, Lenny Warren, Ken Templeman, those guys. They're like, they don't give up on an artist real quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They if they believe in something, they'll stick with you.
If this kid wants to get a real massive, garbage can falling 10 stories to the ground kind of sound on the record, are there any engineers or producers you could recommend scouting out?
I've only made records with 2 people, and that's Andy Johns and Don Landy.
Yeah. I thought maybe, from other guys you might have heard something. I was going to call Luke and ask him, too.
Yeah, he might be, Luke's worked with everybody.
Yeah.
So he'd probably be the guy.
Yeah, maybe I could give him a call.
I think Andy Johns is good.
Yeah.
He's great. He's a great hang, too. He's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he want to, like, did he have a lot of input on shaping your music, or was he more the kind of guy where you tell him
He
what
pretty
you
much
want,
let
he got
it just go, you know. And every now and then he would suggest, "Hey, would you try this?" And I say, "No." No, no, I'm kidding. I'm half-ass kidding, but
Yeah.
you know, the thing is, the way we wrote this record, it's like I was writing. I'd come up with an idea overnight, and the next day I'd come in here and I wouldn't quite have it all the way I want. So there's nothing I hate worse than someone telling me, "Try this," before I get my idea
Yeah, I mean,
out. You know what I mean?
That should not be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it happens. You know,
It happens a lot.
People hear certain things, you know, but I like to finish my thought first.
Sammy strikes me as being like he'd be a pretty easy guy, reasonable guy to work with.
Yeah. He's great, man. Because he had a solo career first and then joined a band.
Yeah.
Which is great because he got all that I got to prove myself for me first shit out of the way.
Yeah.
So now he's perfectly happy doing a fourth of the work instead of all of it.
Yeah. You know, the day we spent together in Mill Valley for that cover story in '87, I was really surprised because we went out in public. I don't know if you remember, but it's like no one bothered you or Val, but everywhere we went with Sammy, it was like, I can't drive 55, dude.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It was amazing to me.
Right.
You know.
It's great. You know, we like connect so quick.
Yeah.
On the working level, you know. Well, on every level, we're buddies too. I mean,
yeah.
You know, the beach house he owns out in Malibu is like 2 doors away from Val and my house. And you know, I knew he was going to be in a band for a while when he bought a house 2 doors down from us.
Wouldn't you hate to be in one of these bands where the guys get together, you know, just to do the record and they hate each other? That kind of.
How can they do that?
It happens.
Yeah. I don't know.
You think endorsements are a good thing?
I don't think they're a bad thing as long as you're not holding up something that you don't use and don't believe in.
Yeah.
You know? And like, say, my guitar and my future amp, I'm using them, and I was there from day one on the development of it.
Yeah.
You know? And at the same time, the main reason I'm building this guitar and this amp is for me.
Where's the body shape?
I want a Dudley Gimple from Music Man.
Yeah.
He kind of took. I had drawings of guitar that I kind of wanted, which was kind of a cross between a Telly and a Les Paul.
Oh yeah, sure.
And between he and I, we came up with this.
Seems to be quite a bit heavier than your old Strat, as I recall.
That actually really isn't.
Huh.
It's balanced real nice. It's nice Tony woods, basswood with maple top. And the way they have the tuning pegs, you get an even spring pull.
Yeah.
Across the neck too, so the neck will not warp. You know, as easy as a.
Did you like try a bunch of different types of wood, or did you know that's what you wanted?
I like the feel of maple.
Yeah.
And you know, there's nothing on it. It's just wood.
Yeah. Didn't you used to, on the old guitars, you'd sand all everything off, didn't you?
Yeah. So I used to hate that what do you call it? The polyurethane.
Right.
Finish.
Your old Strat was cracked too, wasn't it? At one time.
Yeah.
And glued back together.
Yeah. Broke the whole headstock off like that.
I mean, you remember? I don't know if you remember this. You used to have the nut filed real wide. The string slots were three times wider.
That was pre Floyd Rose.
Yeah.
You're talking about the original black and white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That always amazed me. Like no one else was thinking of doing that.
It's the only way I could keep the damn thing in tune.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you hit a hard open string, the string would pop out of the nut. So whenever you played open strings, you had to like play an E chord that way.
Oh, I see.
Instead of like that, because if you went like that, E string would go boing. You know, and I put oil on it. And see, look, the main reason guitar doesn't stay in tune is because of the angle from here to the tuning peg.
From the nut to the tuners.
Yeah. So what I did also was, okay, I filed the nut way down, obviously, so it wouldn't buzz when you hit an open note. But I would take the string and pull it through the tuning peg and wind it up instead of down. So it would slide on the nut.
Right.
You know? Because I can't believe I just heard some old tapes the other day that Mike Anthony has of us like playing at the Whiskey New Year's Eve,
Uh-huh.
and I'm just going crazy with the bar, and that was my original
Pre-locking.
pre-locking job, and it stayed in tune perfect.
You know, it's amazing. I remember you telling me, this is before Floyd Rose stuff came out, you told me about telling this guy in Seattle, why can't you weld? It's too bad you can't weld strings at the nut.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like, then it came.
Yeah.
And it changed
Right.
guitar technology forever.
Well, you know, I hate to make a beef about this, but I had a lot to do with the development of this.
I remember.
You know, and nobody seems to remember that. But, you know, but I'm not, you know, fuck, it's winter, water under the bridge, you know, who cares?
It was, you know, in a lot of ways, too, it's your playing that created the need for that kind of
Yeah.
device. You know. Do you have whammy guitars that aren't locking?
Not that I use.
Yeah.
Not anymore. I mean, what's the point? This is a
Yeah.
lot simpler.
Are these strings heavier than you used to use?
No, same.
Right.
I think it's 40 and a 9.
Yeah. It's a beautiful act.
Well, the reason it might feel that way to use because in the old days we used to tune down to like D or D flat. Even.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That was real tough on Mike, man. Trying to get a bass sound out of a detuned string that's like flapping in the wind. Blah blah. You know what I mean? So Mike's a happy camper because we're tuned normal now. Because
what happened to the old? You used to have a device in a practice bomb.
oh, that was a Univox Echo.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that had the cartridge.
Yeah,
like a
right.
8-track cartridge. Yeah.
You still have that thing?
No, the thing blew out of the bomb too many times. So duct tape wouldn't save that circuit again.
You know, it's funny, man. With your hands and just some cheap little things,
I used to use some pretty silly stuff.
You really
man.
changed the way people thought about guitar. You know what amazed me? I've told the story to a lot of guys, and they always want to hear it. I go, one time Eddie played me Eruption on an unplugged guitar, and it sounds just like the record. And like no one will believe it, and then they hear it, and they go, I can't believe this.
Yeah, well,
You always said, man, it's in your hands. It's not.
I kind of like to think so.
Yeah.
I mean, it shouldn't be this magic black box.
Yeah.
You know, because I really don't think you can search till you're dead, you know, to find that magic box.
It's like the old saying, a poor workman blames his tools.
Yeah, exactly.
To think that Templeman thought at one time of not putting that on the record. No, you played it in the studio.
I was warming up for a whiskey gig while we
Uh-huh.
were doing the first album, and Ted goes, "What's that?" You know, and he wanted it on the record.
Oh, had you been playing it before?
No, he just happened to walk in while I was like practicing for the weekend gig,
Yeah.
and he wanted it on. It was me who was kind of going, what the fuck, you know,
Good thing.
what do we need a guitar solo on a record for? You know, it's really funny. It's like Andy Johns just the other day, he went over to Ted's office. Because Ted worked with us too on this record.
You did?
Ted Templeman, oh yeah.
Oh.
He did a lot of the vocals with Sammy, and oh yeah, we had a hell of a team going here this time. You know, we cut all the tracks with Andy,
Yeah.
and then Ted joined up and just helped pull it all together. You know, Ted's like one of those kind of guys that can just say, well, we got to do this now, man. You know, stop pissing up a rope, guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, driving
He just,
force.
you know, cracks the whip and goes, here's what we're doing now. Here's today's schedule, you know.
Yeah.
And, oh, yeah, it was great to work with Ted again, too. Really was.
Huh. I remember him from Harper's Bazaar. Was
Yeah.
that his band?
That was the name. Harper's
Yeah.
Bazaar, yeah.
Yeah.
Feeling groovy.
Yeah, right. Back in the psychedelic days. Yeah, he was such a strange-looking cat, you know, light blonde hair and beetle haircut.
He's a great guy, though.
Yeah.
You like?
Should I shut this door?
It's up to you, man.
Yes, Ed.
I won't be embarrassed if you won't be.
Look out for Matt in there. Well, this is great. I really appreciate getting this interview. It's always a pleasure to see you.
So what? You going to interview Sam?
No, I think we're doing it on you this time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You got enough?
Oh yeah, plenty.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really fun to turn these things off, man.
Yeah.
After the interview concluded, Eddie asked me if I would like to meet Wolfgang. I said sure. He drove me down the hill to his house where Valerie was cradling baby Wolfgang in her arms. Eddie had the most beatific look on his face as he introduced me to his son, who's now carrying on the Van Halen name. It was an unforgettable moment. It may be my favorite moment with Eddie ever. Before signing off, I want to invite you to check out our other full-length Eddie interviews on YouTube, including the first one he ever did. I also want to thank the fine folks at the University of North Carolina Southern Folklife Collection and my friend Nick Hunt, who engineers and produces my podcasts. This podcast is copyright 2025 by Jazz Obrecht, all rights reserved. Thanks for listening. Hope to see you next time.